All right, guys. Hey, welcome back. We have an amazing opportunity. We're going to be talking about all marketing things here. This is Real Estate Uncensored, the Marketing Roundtable. And we have Mr. Gene Volpe, Mr. Nick Sackis, and Mr. Jake Wolf. So in that order, Mr. Gene, how are you, brother?
I'm doing. Oh, I'm sorry. I just stepped all over your shit. How are you?
You did step all over my shit. I was going to call it the Evil Ball Ninja, but okay, go ahead.
All right, no, that's fine. That's fine. No, so I got to ask you. There's a lot of technical things that happen behind the scenes, right? So, like when we do these shows, a lot of times when we're on with some other people, you give the knock to let everybody know that we're live, so the other host can start the show, right?
Correct.
So why did you just knock when you were the one starting the show?
I don't know.
Okay, I thought maybe you were teaching me some new wizardry that I didn't know. I was to see what that was all about. But I'm doing fine, Greg McDaniel. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing well, brother. I'm with you. Three of my best friends who I've only met one of you, but you know what? All of you guys are my incredibly good brothers from another mother. Mr. Nick Sackis, the ever shrinking man. How are you, dude?
I'm doing good, man. Speaking of shrinking, I finally broke the 300-pound barrier, so I am now no longer 300 pounds, 298.
Wow, man, how does that feel?
172 pounds from 49 weeks ago.
Wow.
Pretty incredible.
You look like a new man, brother. You look like a new man.
It's crazy.
You look like half a new man. Look half a new man.
Time on task, just like marketing, right? You commit to something, you do it for an extended period of time. Kyle, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Yeah, this is just a result of time on task. That's it. Healthy decisions, healthy habits over 49 weeks, and here I am.
Dude, you're a badass motherfucker.
Incredible.
And guys, we cannot let him sit there by himself. We have Mr. Jake Wolf, the marketer of marketers. How are you?
I'm just hanging out at this round table with all of you fine gentlemen. Hey, are you going to count down this show or what?
Motherfucker, I had to bring you guys in. Damn, I got to bust my nuts so fucking hard. All right, we got some crazy stuff we're going to go over today, guys. But before that, here's our countdown. Man, I love that countdown. All right, we are back. We're going to talk about ISO, Apple, Facebook. We're going to talk about, tech. We're going to talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. Guys, how can we make our marketing better? Who was talking about it? Was it Gene or Nick or, Jake, or who was it that was talking about kind of what's going on with Apple and Facebook and how the feud is going on and kind of what's going on there and kind of the non-adoption rate? Gentlemen, take this conversation away because I honestly want to learn on this.
So obviously, Apple went ahead and released their new iOS 14 change. So beforehand, Facebook has been talking about or hoping that they would get close to 60% opt-in or adoption to some of the new changes. However, some of the articles that we've been watching very closely have seen some sub 15% adoption rates. So it's going to be very interesting, especially with a lot of the device IDs going away, people opting out of being tracked around, and we'll see what happens with Facebook. But a lot of folks are suggesting other methods of advertising, diversification of your ads. So we're watching day by day. The whole iOS 14.5 with it finally being out the door. And hell, I saw one day last week it was like 6%. I think globally they're in like the 30s, low 30% globally for Facebook. So It's going to be interesting.
Well, let's get into it, shall we? I want you to explain to me, what does that mean? Like, I think we've talked about this a couple times a little bit, but I just don't know that for the average Tom, Dick, and Harry and Sally, I'm not sure they quite understand why that's important. And so, because I think there's, like you said, there's workarounds, there's other platforms, there's things that we'll get into. But before we get there,
Why does that have to be a dick? Why does that have to be a dick?
What? Oh, there's always a dick. You should know that. And listen, I'll let the put me back in the 4 spot. So which one of us do you think is the users is the dick? Like let's really go there. That's good. That's where we should start. Oh, I think you got my vote. So Mr. Wolf, why don't you first of all let me say this. Welcome back to the saddle. You have been when you first came on, I was like, whoa, who's this 4th dude? I haven't seen him in 6 months. But I trust everybody is safe. But why don't you go into that a little bit as to why this is an important thing with the iOS and Facebook?
Sure, absolutely. So Facebook needed millions and then billions of yous and me's to go ahead and use this platform for free. And then he needed to go ahead and Mr. Zuckerberg needed to make some money, right? So how does he do that? He literally sells advertising opportunities to marketers, small businesses, large businesses, things like that. So in order for me to spend $1,000 bill with old Mr. Zuckerberg, he's going to have to give me my most prospective consumer to go ahead and purchase my products or services. How does he do that? There's a lot of information that he learns about us utilizing tracking scripts, pixels, different things that you guys ultimately do on the line. Most people don't go ahead and actually drop out of the back end here on Facebook, right? So everybody stays mostly logged in. So if you're hanging out at different websites or different places like that, he's learning more information about you. So why is this iOS 14 change so crazy for Facebook? It's because people are choosing privacy over allowing for a lot of the introspective things to be tracked, and you guys get put into different targeting audiences. So if people are actually opting out of the ability for Facebook to track interests, locations, things that you do online, now those targeting options are going to go away, and ultimately ad revenue is going to drop dramatically. So that's why Facebook has been yelling and screaming. It's going to be interesting to go ahead and see. So there's already a special housing category on Facebook for advertising, right? So it's going to be even more interesting when you lose a large majority of people to go ahead and target with Facebook ads.
So, I mean, and Nick, you're a big guy on Facebook ads. I mean, talk to me a little bit about that. I mean, how does that look? I mean, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? Because I want to get your point of view on this as well, since this is kind of your wheelhouse along with Jake.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a shakeup going on as far as what we're seeing on audiences. But from a year or so ago, when they added the special ad category, we had to pivot, right? So as marketers, we always have to pivot and look at other things and know exactly what's going on in the marketplace. Okay, is Facebook going away? Is Facebook advertising going away? Hell no. Okay, it's still a tremendous place to be. All right, I'm not deviating or looking at other platforms. There's time and a place for everything, and Facebook should still be in your marketing mix for sure. Now, the interesting part about all this is the consumer feeling, right? So that it really does drive a lot of your day-to-day decisions. Like, how do you feel about something, right? As soon as you hear about Facebook tracking, are you happy or sad? Like, I put that in the comments. Let me know, do you like seeing relevant ads? Because I think on the macro, everybody agrees that, hey, I would only like to see stuff in a world of marketing. You're being marketed to every single day on every single platform. It's not just Facebook. So if you had the option, if you knew you were going to be marketed to anyway, wouldn't you rather see stuff that you're interested in? I know I would. But at the same time, when Apple produces something like this and they go to market with their audience and they say, we're here, we're on your side, we're your advocate, we're going to block all these companies. It is the most complete bullshit story I've ever seen in my life, because they're still tracking you, right? It's like who do you trust the most, right? You're still using an Apple device. You're still in the ecosystem. You're still being tracked. It goes against everything from an online data. Like, there's companies that specialize just in that. It's not just Apple. Okay, so people are opting out on Facebook thinking, oh, I'm going to beat the man. Well, there's 47 different men and they all have a different game, right? So I think it's kind of a joke to say you're going to opt out of tracking, we're still going to be able to find you. We're still going to be able to advertise to you. And it's still in your benefit, because at the end of the day, you want to see stuff that's relevant to you. And if you don't want your newsfeed to be clogged, I challenge you to do this. Take somebody else's phone and look at their newsfeed versus yours. I promise you, you won't want to go on their platform, because it's bloated with stuff that has nothing to do with you, and it'll make social media not fun again. So the interesting part about all this, and why Jake was bringing this up, is because we initially thought a couple of weeks ago that the adoption rate was going to be massive, that it was going to be 50, 60% of people were going to opt out immediately. And what we're seeing now is not the exact opposite, but not quite as much. There's a lot of people that just haven't opted out yet for, I think, that same reason. So I think there's a lot of headlines being put out there, data privacy, like scare tactics, all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, you use social media to interact with other people, other businesses that are like you, and you don't want that to go away. I don't think it's going to go away.
That's interesting, because I actually went in and I did opt out of being tracked on Facebook off of their site. And I mean, I personally haven't felt any different. I mean, am I supposed to feel different about that when people do that? I mean,
it's going to take time. Plus, they are smart, right? Facebook is fucking smart. Like,
they are.
They say that, okay, now they're pixels on your website and they're not going to track you. They track every single behavior. If you looked at the list of what's on your phone when you accept to put Facebook on your phone, the amount of tracking that's there just on the device itself, they don't need the pixel on the website, right? You watch 3 seconds of somebody's content from a brand that is shown to you based on other webs or other places on Facebook. We don't have to go outside the platform. You interact on Facebook. You like your friend's stuff. Like, they track all that stuff. So it's not really necessary. Like, the remarketing cold audience who's never seen you before, we're going to see a slight pivot there. But if you have the app on your phone, you're being tracked. Make no mistake, unless your app's on your phone and you're not actually logging into Facebook. As soon as you open up the app and watch anything, comment on anything, go to a page, talk to a friend, all that inside the ecosystem is being tracked, and that's how we're still able to advertise to you. So, like, again, it's like not necessarily knowing what tracking means to the general public. It's this big headline, and it's a big buzz from Apple to get more people to buy the iPhone.
So my Pornhub searches are being tracked?
Absolutely.
Ah, damn it. All right.
And Jake's boys over there can actually show you relevant ads inside Pornhub from the searches in that specific platform.
I don't have any phrases like that, Greg. But yes, the capability is most definitely there. But I don't advertise on those places. Disclaimer.
That's just for everyone listening. That was a joke, and I just want to kind of make a very open statement to the fact there's a great book called Everybody Lies. And when they did the research for that book, they actually went to Pornhub and they asked them to give them access to their users' searches. And it's amazing what people will lie to your face about, but yet they will not lie to a computer. And so it's incredibly interesting. I'm not going to go into details on this, but if you're interested in those searches, Gene is laughing his face off over there. But you'll see some of the weirdest searches ever. Gene, jump in. You were going to say something.
You want me to tell you what my last 4 searches were for?
Nope.
Listen, I think that we're still talking about Apple iPhones, and I go back to what I told you before. There's one of us that on this channel that didn't have to worry about that because he's a grown-ass man, and he uses an Android. Two? Oh, that's true. You are, right? That's true. You don't use an Android. What do you use? You use an iPhone. You're muted.
I do. I use an iPhone. That's right.
No, look, this is a pissing contest, right?
They're Android devices. Come on.
There you got it, boy, Nick. Dick Trackus, a.k.a. DuckDuckGo, their number 1 premier DuckDuckGo user, Dick Trackus. It's a pissing contest between these two companies, and Nick's 100% right. I mean, there's just ways to capture people's information. You're being followed on everything you do. I don't know. I think it's funny that, like, we've talked about this. I'm certainly a convenience over privacy guy. I've always been that dude. Like, I know I'm giving up my locations. I know I'm giving up my credit card info. Everything you have is stored in your phone. People can read through my pictures to see what kind of beers I drink. Like, there's just a lot of AI involved. They got me, dude. And I would much rather have stuff pop up on my screen that I'm interested in and save in an effort to save time, as opposed to worrying about somebody stealing my info, dude. I mean, we talked about the ones and zeros on this show, I think a couple of weeks ago. And like, people were like, well, you have an open password, like a really easy password to hack on your Wi-Fi router. And I'm like, do you know what it takes to hack a Wi-Fi router? Like 99% of the people out there can't do it. And the other folks have to be outside of your house going through an algorithm to track. Like, that's not something that happens. You're more likely to be spammed by somebody who gets you to click a link in an email than you are to have something hacked, right? And people are worried about their credit cards. I get my credit card hacked once a year. And you know what happens? I call them and I go, that wasn't me. And they go, okay, we'll give you the money back and we'll do a research. And if we find out it was you and you lied, we're taking it back from you. I go, okay. I don't shop at Target. I didn't spend $600 there 18 miles from my house last week. It wasn't me. And they go, okay, you're covered. Like, what are we worried about? I just don't know what we're worried about. Stop. I feel like stop with make my job easier, people, right? I'm targeting you for my clients. Just forego the privacy shit. Say yes. Make your life easier. Just, that's enough.
Well, that's an interesting concept. And Jake is kind of leaning in. I know that look on his face right now. He's got definitely something to say about make your life easier and lean into it. So, I mean, Jake, where do you stand on that?
I just think everybody should go buy an Apple iPhone because they care about your privacy, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, they sure do, apparently.
Somebody who owns Apple stock. Jesus Christ. We're pumping.
Yeah, no, but it really is a conversation. I mean, it is true. Like, you guys know my brother Brad, who owns a company called Likely.ai. They have 3,000 to 5,000 data points on every single person in the U.S. So all of us right now, and everywhere else, guys, look, I know your VIN number. I know your make and model of your car. I know what kind of dog or cat you have. I know what kind of political party you fund to. It's not an issue of being secret anymore. I mean, that ship has sailed.
Yeah.
So with that knowledge, knowing to the scary fact, and by the way, guys, this is the stuff that's just on our side of the fence. I mean, we're not talking government side of the fence. Like, those motherfuckers, Jake, they know a shit ton more about you than you can ever imagine. They probably know when you pee in the morning. Like, literally. So how do we utilize this data, guys? How do we go from here?
Yeah, hold on. First of all, there are studies that have been done where they actually do know when you go to the bathroom. They can. Your toilet and your water is hooked up to a grid, so they know what your patterns are. Like, you got to understand that everything you do, every single thing you do, is tracked at some level, and it's just a matter of who's selling the information to who. It's tracked. I mean, if I wanted to think about how stupid this is. If I wanted to target people that I knew needed new toilets at a certain time, I would go out and figure out what the lifespan was of these toilets. I would make a connection. This is ridiculous, right? But I would make connection with the water company and say, sell me the data of all the people that have flushed 45,000 times in the last 3 months, because I now know that those people are probably ready to buy a new toilet. Let me send them my info. Right?
You're not
So
lying.
what do they know you use, Gene?
Here's how I throw everybody
water.
out.
Yeah,
Gene.
Water.
You won't get to meet Gino because I figured out how to go ahead and bypass that tracking as well.
Hold on for a
irrigation.
second. Wait, let me give him the finger. That's for Nick.
I don't know what water. I don't know what water is.
Water. It's WOODER. That's how you say it. Water.
I just leave my irrigation system on full time so that no toilet salesman can go ahead and show up at my house, Gino.
I hear you, brother. That's one of the ways where he masks his toilet water usage. He just keeps think about it. He's willing to pay a little extra because the water's always running to hide his secrecy. That's what we're doing. Like, that's actually what we're doing. But I mean, like, what I'm saying to you is if this is still a thing, like in today's I guess I'm just over the whole thing, right? Like, oh, Greg, I know what I want to say to you. When you were talking about Brad at Likely AI, you said they have 2,000 to 5,000 pieces of information, data points on you, right? Just
3,
think about that.
3,000 to 5,000.
Just all right. So let me do this. In the next 5 seconds or 10 seconds, tell me 20 things about yourself. You can't. Most people can't. They got 3,000. Like you couldn't. If I
couldn't even get an answer in there.
But because it's pointless, right?
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, you could name me 20 things. It would take you a little while, right?
No.
But 3,000?
3,000 things? There's not a chance in hell. 5,000 things? Not a chance in hell. I know I like to drink wine, drink vodka. I like to eat nice food. I like to take the dog for the walk. I enjoy going. I don't enjoy picking up dog poop. I like hot sauce. I enjoy
slowing down
shows.
It's already slowing down.
Shut up. At least I'm trying. You do it.
I can't. That's my point. I can't. All these companies have that amount of data on you, and you can't tell me half of what they have on you because you don't know. People can't think that deep.
Well, a quarter. I mean, it's a fractional thing. I mean, Nick, I see you sitting there just stewing. So jump in on this one, dude.
What is it? So what does it mean though? Like, what does it all mean, right? They have all this information. Us as marketers, what do we do? How do we react to this, right? For me, it comes back to marketing 101, which is what is your message to the marketplace, right? I think Gene talks about this a lot. Jake talks about this a lot. Your unique selling proposition. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. 25 years ago, before social media existed, good businesses had unique selling propositions that they marketed to their clients via newspapers, direct mail, email lists, like whatever the lane is. So there's always a lane. Facebook is a lane, right? But if you don't have anything to say, it doesn't matter. If you have the best targeting and the best ninja Facebook ads guy or girl or best platform, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're using Boomtown for $1,500 a month. Like none of that shit matters. Like focus on one thing, which is who are the clients you want to bring into your world and what do those clients need? Solve that problem, figure out what your unique selling proposition is, and just talk about that every single day, right? I know Matt Johnson has said this a couple of times. I don't know if he said it on this show. He said it in his. It's not a matter of trying to come up with 1,000 things to say. It's a matter of saying one thing 1,000 different ways, right? Another way that you can think about that is an example, like focusing on the one thing. You've all probably read the book, Gary Keller, One Thing, Focus on One Thing. Focus on the offer. So here's what happens. If you were to cut your arms, if you cut your left arm and you cut your right arm and you watch them both heal, how your body actually works, right? Your body will only actually heal one wound at a time. It heals one wound 100%, and then it goes to the other arm and it'll heal that wound again. So why is that important? Our structure of our life, our world, the way that our body works, if our body knows that it should only go to one thing and heal one thing, just like my weight loss journey. My body attacked the fattest part of my body first and started attacking that, and then it moved on. What happens with real estate agents is we listen to all these podcasts and we go to our brokerage, our meeting, and we talk to somebody who had one win doing this one thing, and all of a sudden our whole week is scattered with doing 27 different things and not really penetrating or doing things. So my message has always been figure out one thing that you're really, really good at. Figure out that offer. I hope it's video, and just say the same thing to that audience 1,000 different ways.
Dude, I love that. That's awesome stuff right there.
Your body only heals one arm at a time?
Hey, tell me.
I was trying to visualize.
I was waiting for like
the
infantry, but yes, your body. If you get injured, your body attacks one thing at a time. Like it will heal one thing more if you have equal wounds. I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be a doctor. I just know this from talking to other people that are smarter than me. But if your body does that, there's probably a reason, right?
Nick, I love what you said at the beginning of the show regarding your journey, your weight loss journey, right? And Oh, look, it's me. We're doing the whole
yeah
Foursquare thing again, right? So, so Nick, I'd like for you to expand on the tenacity and the drive, the dedication of the small steps that it took to go ahead and get to where you're at for your goals, and then correlate that towards business, my friend. I think that's absolutely amazing. Greg, if you can go ahead and throw Nick back up.
Yeah. So I talk a lot. If you guys have followed me on my personal journey, I talk a lot about healthy habits, right? So the reason why you in business, why you would hire a coach or a mentor or somebody who's been farther than you is because they have a proven system, right? A business is all about a system. So we as entrepreneurs, we like to have the badge of like doing everything, wearing all the hats and doing all the things and not taking a vacation because you're hustling and grinding, but you don't have a real business. You have a job that you happen to create. You're writing yourself your own paycheck, but you have 1,000 different jobs. A real business is a systematized group of tasks. Okay. And so when I was talking about my health, when I was looking at my health, I knew that I had an issue. I knew I had to conquer that issue. So I hired a health coach and we put together a systematic plan so that I knew that all I had to do was conquer each day. Right. So if I conquered each day in 49 weeks and 52 weeks or whatever, I didn't have to worry about the long term because it was just a change in lifestyle. It was doing the things that healthy people do on a consistent basis. So as far as marketing, are you doing 27 different things in marketing, or are you focused on one thing systematically every single day, taking time, whether, like I said, I've said this before, if you spend 3 hours a day doing cold calling, fine. Remove 1 hour and turn 1 hour into social media, recording video, recording your audio. One thing. I hope it's video, get better at video, but it's got to be one thing. It's got to be systematized and it's got to be something repeatable that you can do every single day. And don't get discouraged on day one that here comes day 7 and you don't have a new listing, right? I didn't get discouraged. What's that? I wasn't discouraged that I didn't lose 25 pounds my first week. That wasn't the expectation. The expectation is you're in business. You want to be better than you were 12 months from now, right? So what can you do today and celebrate those small wins relates exactly to business. So create a system, celebrate the small wins, know that you have a system in place that can take you to a different place in 12 months. And another example of this, it really hit me hard recently, and because I have kids, right? Because I see them morph and they change. Like my 2-year-old just had a birthday in the beginning of this month. He's a completely different person than he was 1 year ago. My 4-year-old is about to turn 5 at the beginning of August. So like as kids, we have these breakthrough moments. You can be a completely different person from 4 years old to 5 years old. But for some reason, when we turn 30 and 35 and 40, like we lose that whole idea of we can be a completely different person or have a completely different business in 12 months. So like think about in terms of where you want to be in 12 months, put that plan into place and you can be a completely different person. You have a completely different business in 12 months if you take those practical steps. End of rant.
Well, that sounds very simple, but how do you implement put that into action? So I'm going to go to Gene and Jake on this one. Guys, how do you take what Nick just said and actually put it into motion? Because damn, Nick, you make it sound so fucking simple. I mean,
it is.
Jake, you want to take this and we'll go to Gene?
Yeah, you have to start, right? You have to start and you got to lay out your programs and your systems. The biggest thing that I see real estate agents doing is this whole start and stop. It's just like Nick said, they're running around like what's working. You have to go ahead and build the foundational cornerstones of your business and then don't stop. So lay it out. Yeah. That's my short rant of the day. Just don't stop, ladies and gentlemen.
That's what guys, you guys have been watching me for over 6 years now. And I always say the 2 words, persistency and consistency will ultimately get you where you want to be. If you don't do those, go with God, my child. I have no fucking help for you. because if you're not going to do the work, then you're not going to get the results. I mean, does it sound fun to sit on the couch and drink cocktails all day and watch TV and take naps and pet your goldfish? Fuck yeah. By the way, I don't have a goldfish. But I mean, it would be interesting to kind of see, some tactics and tricks that, these three gentlemen could give you. So Gene, give me your thoughts on something, on someone, when you work with your clients and they need to be persistent and consistent in regards to kind of finding their lane. And it doesn't matter what lane what lane you guys are going to be in. It just needs to be a lane. Are you a writer? Are you a talker? Are you on video? Are you a door knocker? Are you a caller? I mean, are you in person, network marketing? I mean, what the fuck do you do? And then keep doing it. Gene, give me your thoughts on this, man.
Well, I like what you said. You just created a list of a bunch of things, right? So go through that list again for me real quick. Are you a door knocker? Are you a social media guy? Are you a video guy? Are you a writer? Are you a cold caller, right? I would create a list. I would create a list of all the actionable items that you can potentially do as a real estate agent and write them down. And then underneath each one of those items, create a small, easy plan to follow. Like what Nick was saying a little while ago. If you're going to set aside 5 hours a day, say 4 hours a day to make it easy for lead gen, then figure out which of those items I just rattled off fall under that lead gen, and then break each one out. So like, let's say cold call, and I'm going to cold call for an hour. Here's where I'm going to get my phone numbers. I'm going to set aside an hour for social media marketing. I'm going to do that. I'm going to set aside an hour to create video content. And what I mean by that is come up with a list of things that I want to do videos on, set up the camera, do the editing, all this stuff, shoot the video, do all that, post it, right? So like there's some steps involved. I'd break down the steps to each one and then do it for 2 weeks. And two things will happen. You'll start to realize what was really, really heavy and what you hated to do and what you weren't very good at. And you'll realize that there's probably two or three things where you go, that wasn't so hard. And I think I look pretty good on camera, or I like my voice on a podcast with a professional microphone. Like you might figure that stuff out and then watch the type of engagement and insights each one of those gets. And hopefully the amount of activity that you get for a specific thing you do corresponds to how much you like that activity, right? So if you're getting a lot of engagement on something you love to do, it'll be easier to do. And then what I would do is rinse and repeat that every single week.
Oh, well said. Damn. Okay. Shit. Podcast ended. Holy shit balls. Thank you on that one.
What did that mic drop, playa?
Hey, let me ask you a question, Nick. What does your calendar look like every day?
Time blocked.
Yeah.
So I work in 1 hour bursts, essentially.
Sweet. Hey, Greg, can you go ahead and pull the Foursquare back up? Let's go ahead and role play here for a quick second.
Sure.
Gene, what does your calendar look like?
Like a goddamn minefield.
Okay. Same over here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys do not have a calendar laid out and you're filling in those time blocks during your productive day with things that you need to do for your business, you're failing already. And your best competitors are kicking your butt, period. So if all of a sudden 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning is wide open and you need something to fill it up with, choose a topic like Nick and Gino are talking about, right? And all of a sudden start focusing on Facebook. If you don't know anything about Facebook, time to go to school, start learning. Or if it's LinkedIn, or if it's building out some print media or whatever, just go ahead and fill in the blanks.
You get a chance to see that? Can you see that?
Yep. Yeah. We're showing it right now. Is that yours?
That's mine.
Is that weekly or is that just this week?
This was last week. So you can see my anniversary was on Tuesday, and I even have an anniversary breakfast with my wife broken out into that. And then I got my calls, and I don't want to get too deep into the schedule, but this is what it sort of looks like. This is Memorial Day, so there was a little bit of time off, and then the rest of the stuff sort of falls into place there. But we have this argument all the time in my household. If it's not on my calendar, it ain't occurring.
If it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. Right?
Yeah.
And what does that translate into video? If you don't document it on video, it didn't exist. That's the new trend, right? We talk about video all the time, and it is what it is, right? If you don't document what you're doing, then nobody knows you exist. You're not unique. Okay, here's another tip, right? And this took me a long time to get over. Whatever you're thinking about doing, whatever you are holed up in your room, in your bunker, like absorbing as much information as you possibly can from every podcast, because you're going to be different. Okay. You are not a snowflake. You are not unique. Anything that you were thinking about saying, somebody else has said 100 different times. So you might as well just say it more often, right? Yeah. You're not going to come up with a revolutionary way to sell real estate. You're just not saying any way of real estate at all. So you get so wound up of getting ready to get ready that you don't actually do anything. I hate to be like the Gary Vee cliche, but it's the implementation. I'm guilty of this. Let's ask a question here for a couple people that are live. If you watch us on the replay, #replay, how many times have you seen somebody else do something and go, damn, I had that idea 12 months ago. And you take that as like a point of pride. Like, I thought about that a year ago. We didn't do shit with it.
Yep. No, I hear that all the time.
It is true. And that goes in multiple different phases of life, because I mean, there's been ideas. I have this little, it's not around me right now, but I had for the lack of play, this is a cooking magazine, so just go with me on this. But I had this little black book that I would keep next to my bed, and my girlfriend at the time bought me that because I'd wake up in the middle of the night and be like, oh my God, what about this idea for a company? Or what about that idea for a product? Right. And she's like, shut the fuck up. And she's like, just write it down. And I said, okay. Now, in the refrigerator behind me, there is an ice cube maker. And I'll tell you one thing. I woke up in the middle of the night and I thought of an idea for a flexible ice cube maker. They didn't have them back then. Guess what? They're everywhere now. And I let that go because the energy flows, guys. It flows. If it's not going to go to you, it's going to go to somebody else. Somebody else is going to take action. If you don't take action, somebody else will. So it's going to be up to you at this moment, at that exact time in your life. Are you going to do something or are you not? End of story.
Yeah, now, there's big sharks in the water out there, aren't there, Greg?
Oh, there's huge sharks. But you can be a big shark if you're a minnow right now. Dude, that's totally fucking cool. Be a minnow. But then become a bass, then become a sturgeon, then become a shark, then become a whale shark. You can just get bigger and bigger and bigger. But it doesn't mean you're not going to get bigger, but you have to take action. And this is where the marketing from these three gentlemen really comes into play. When you see an opportunity, move. Don't wait. Ever. Like I just told you, I waited, I failed on the ice cube thing. And that really actually is something that I really did come up with, which is kind of funny that they're actually out there now. But hey, the energy went to somebody else.
It's a cool invention, Greg. I've got your product in my freezer.
Well, I'm glad you're a good patron. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. All right, let's go over a couple more topics, guys. Give me 2 more topics we want to talk about today. We are at 38 minutes, so we're going to wrap this thing up within about 10 minutes. So, Nick, Gene, or Jake, what is something that is burning through your brain that someone needs to hear right now? And
I'll go back to weight loss. Your business can only grow to the extent that you do. Right? If you don't take 100% responsibility for yourself, your business is going to struggle. So back to the time blocking, I am a firm 100% believer now, because one of the things I think we all kind of fall into the trap of in a service business like real estate is trying to be all things for all people. Mm-hmm. So I would encourage you to be more selfish on yourself. Because just like an airplane, if an airplane's going down, you got to give yourself oxygen first before you can help any other passengers. You have to help yourself personally and get into that mindset and have that vision of where you want to be and take action for yourself. Get healthy. Don't eat the junk food. Move around. Get some exercise. Because there's very few people who are complete slobs in their personal life and are ultra successful.
Good point.
That can be correlated in so many different ways. I mean, in regards to eating the junk food, it doesn't have to be junk food. It could be watching reality TV, which I personally fucking hate. It's the dumbest fucking creation on God's green earth. It could be drinking too much booze, smoking the weed, spending time doing things you shouldn't do, but not building, not growing, not listening, not learning. I mean, so I think the correlation, Nick, that you made with the junk food could be whatever is your distraction, eliminate it, right?
Or just be intentional, right? I mean, that's the thing. It goes back to the habits. Be more intentional with what you do.
Gene, you're going to jump in. What were we going to say?
No, I was going to say, it makes me think of an old friend of mine. Previous to last year, like 18 months ago, he passed away. He was like 77 years old. And I can remember sitting in a restaurant with him. And he was saying to me, how are you doing? How are you doing with your weight loss? How are you doing with the way you feel? And I said to him, I forget how we went through to it. And he said, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen a fat lion? And I was like, I giggled. And then I was like, what? He goes, have you ever seen a fat lion? And I go, no, I don't think I have. And he goes, why do you think they're the king of the jungle? Like, you got to feel good about yourself. You have to be in good head space, body space, monetary space, friend space, family space. Like, when all those things align, you can be the lion, right? Sort of like what Nick was just saying. So that was just maybe when he was talking about that, just made me think about it.
No, it's a good point. I mean, I've been in a bad mental space for the last couple of months for different various reasons. And it has taken a toll on me. I'll be very honest and transparent with my audience about this. And you know what? I fight with it every single fucking day. And my girlfriend's outside right now. She's cutting a rose bush down. And then we're going to bring a boxing thingamabobber into the house. And I'm going to start boxing again because I love to box. I love to hit the heavy bag. I know Jake does too, because it gives me a sense of pride because I can hit the shit out of that thing and I feel like I accomplished something. So when it comes to marketing and everything else with you guys, if you can find something, one thing a day that you find accomplishment with, hit the heavy bag, AKA go call someone, go email, go text message. Use Clever, use, GVI Media, use, Nick's company, just find something, some way that works for you to contact somebody to bring value to someone in some way. It will transform your lives. And again, a lot of us think of us as lions, but we never want to do what a lion has to do. When a lion has to eat, he has to tear shit the fuck up and get weird. So, do you want to be the fat mythical lion, or do you want to be the actual lion that goes out there and crushes fucking skulls? Jake, I see you.
A lot of people like to hit the heavy bag that need to sell houses. Maybe you should record yourself hitting the heavy bag and say a few words while you do it.
Oh, I'll huff and puff.
Social media.
I'll huff and puff and die. Are you kidding me? But I'll try. I'll try. Jake, you're shaking your head. What's up, my friend?
Yeah, I've got one real quick thing to go ahead and add. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to put this into your mind. I want you to start loving Mondays and hating Fridays. Okay? That's when you know that you've arrived. When all of a sudden Friday at 5 hits and you're going, damn it, I ran out of time. It's Friday at 5. And now everybody else is laying around on the weekend, but you still have that drive in your heart and soul. Love your Mondays, hate your Fridays. Take massive action, stand on the throttle, don't stop. And as soon as you actually start respecting your time, putting it all on the calendar, laying this whole thing out, you're going to understand exactly what I'm talking about. I'm in a constant state of removing myself from my calendar so I can add more to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have over 50 employees, virtual assistants, people working for me, taking stuff off of my plate. And probably in the next couple of weeks, I'll have 60 people directly working for my office. So love your Mondays, hate your Fridays. Go get some.
There's a guy named BJ Fogg. He's a psychologist, PhD, I believe. And he hated flossing his teeth. He hated it. And so what he did, exactly what Jake is talking about right now, So what he did is he decided he's going to take one step a day. And so he would go and brush literally one tooth every day. Then he'd brush 2 teeth the next day. Then he'd do 3 the next day, and so on and so forth. Then he became a prolific, flosser. And now he wrote a book called Tiny Things. It's an absolutely incredible book. Go read it. It's talking about doing one step at a time. I did the same thing when it came to working out and doing laps. I used to do like 100 laps a day, and it wore me out. I'm like, fuck, this is too much. AKA doing too many cold calls, door knocks, social media, in-person meetings, whatever it is. So I stopped. Well, that didn't work out so well for me. So then I told myself I'd go down there. I said, I'm going to do 20 laps. So I went down, I did 20 laps. I'm like, shit, that's fucking easy. And then I'm like, well, should I keep going? I said, no, I did my 20 laps. And so I guess what we're all trying to say here is take action, be consistent, be persistent, and be the lion or lioness that's within each and every one of us, and go chase what you want. But you don't have to be king of the jungle right now. You can become king of the jungle, but just start your path. Everything else will follow.
Yeah. Greg, don't let fear and common sense stop you, brother. Just keep going.
Spoken like a true military man. I love that. Gentlemen, we are at the end of the show. Gene Volpe, Evil Bald Ninja. Where can everybody get a hold of this man right here? I got to pull this up because I wasn't on par ready to go for this, but where can they get a hold of you?
Next week, you can get a hold of me in Delray Beach. So from June 8th to June 12th, I'm going to be down there slinging my wares. So
that sounds like you're going to be hooking on the corner.
I can't say what it's going to be. You're going to have to be in the area to see what's going on. It might be hooking on the corner. It might be happy hours on the beach. We don't know. It might be a little something in between. So yeah, hit me up privately. If you are in the vicinity, I'd love to connect.
All right. Awesome. Mr. Jake Wolf, now where can people get a hold of this massive logo, and how can they talk with you, and what can they do with you?
Yeah, come on over to cleverleads.com. I throw these really cool things called success parties, and we'll get you dressed for them properly in business. Enter your information on cleverleads.com. Come on over and schedule a 1-hour meet and greet with yours truly, and we'll go ahead and break down your business the right way.
I love it. I love it. You guys got to get over there. Trust me, I've been using Jake for a long time, not in the bad way, in a good way, and tremendous success. Nick Sakis, where can they get a hold of?
Yeah, so we just revamped and reopened the Real Estate is a Joke Facebook group. So I would love to have you guys on. It's a place where we mastermind kind of like this. We're streaming this live in the group right now. A group of real estate professionals that like to figure out how to be top performers in their market, the go-to agents in their market, but also don't take themselves too seriously. So if that's interesting to you, go to Real Estate is a Joke, search it on Facebook. And then if you'd like to book an appointment with me, go to getamplifiedmarketing.com, and I will show you how we use our media system to help you become the go-to agent in your market without having to just buy leads and all that fluffy stuff, right?
All that hoopla, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Total nonsense. Guys, if you're looking for kind of hang out with me a little bit, well, we are recruiting for our EXP team. I'm not going to hide that one little bit. We have joined not a small wolf pack, but we've joined a very large wolf pack, and we are going to go down and hunt down everything that we can do to help you guys. We want to make it something fun for you. Too bad this guy can't make the party, but we always do miss him, Mr. Matt Johnson. So if you guys want to reach out to me, go ahead. It's on my cell, 925-915-1978. Yes, it does work, by the way, and I do pick up the phone calls. So guys, reach out to us. But gentlemen, I need you guys to quickly give me some colors for the bow on the show. Nick, let's go with you. Then go Gene, and we'll go Jake.
I'm going turquoise.
Turquoise. Okay, Gene?
I'm going AMC movie theater red.
Hey-o.
Hey now.
All right. So
That's a whole
turquoise,
nother show.
AMC movie red. Okay. Jake, what about you, bud?
We're gonna go with Coors Light Silver today.
All right.
I like it.
Motherfuckers, you make this so hard to
I
remember
know.
these colors. So we have turquoise, we have AMC red, and we have Coors silver. Is that accurate?
Yep.
All
Let's
right,
wrap it
gentlemen.
up.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for spending your time with me. I truly appreciate it. All of you guys that are watching and listening, we couldn't do the show without you. So thank you without a doubt. We all appreciate you. Please go to every place that you guys watch and listen to all your podcasts. Give us a 5-star, not a 2-star review, because that helps the algorithm find other people who are looking for the same information. We love you and appreciate you. Also, give us a shout out and tag any of the 4 of us in this show and any of the other shows if you like what we had to say. But until then, gentlemen and ladies, peace out, ninjas. We gone.